So, first of all, let me thank all of you for joining us tonight. And I would also like to thank Ezra Vogel for his wonderful remarks and for honoring us tonight by agreeing to talk about the IUC in such a personal way, in such a meaningful way. So here we are. We are gathered for the launching of a capital campaign that commemorates the 50th anniversary of the Inter-University Center for Japanese Language Studies. And as you know, as you heard from Jim's reading out loud of the title of my book, I have a very bad tendency to make my titles extremely long. My husband was the one who came up with the title, and I came up with the subtitle. I can't even remember the subtitle. And we tried to curtail this tendency in our title for the campaign. We didn't entirely succeed. It's a little bit long, but we wanted to add more, believe me. What we wanted to add there was that 2013 is the year of the 50th anniversary. And I just wanted to drill that in a little bit verbally, since we couldn't squeeze it into the title. Anyway, as you all know, 50th anniversaries are usually thought of as golden anniversaries. And so I'd like to take a moment to reflect upon what is golden about the IUC. And you might be surprised to hear what I am about to reveal to you. In fact, the Inter-University Center for Japanese Language Studies has two major caches of hidden treasure. Hidden treasure. Okay, now that I've let the cat out of the bag, you might wonder, well, where have you been hiding this treasure all these years, and what do you plan to do with it? Well, in fact, let me answer the first question. Let me begin with that. In fact, we have been hiding our treasure in plain sight, and a large amount of it is gathered here, right in this room. I am talking about none other than our incredibly rich stock of human capital. Now, the first source of our wealth is our teaching staff. Throughout the last 5 decades, the IUC has been blessed by a truly outstanding and dedicated group of teachers. We just heard testimony from Ezra, and I know that many of you in this room can offer very similar testimonies, and I hope you will do so on our behalf. These teachers have inspired not only the very highest level of achievement, but also the very highest degree of affection among their students. Why are they so beloved and admired? Well, it's certainly not because they go easy on their students, as we just heard. Rather, it's because everything they do is so thoughtfully tailored to meet the unique needs of their individual students. As you know, the IUC curriculum goes far beyond the usual coursework in advanced Japanese language. The IUC also offers training in specialized areas, from law, economics, and politics to anthropology, history, and literature. Of course, this is what puts the center in a class by itself. There's simply no other institution of this kind. The IUC teachers not only welcome this extra pedagogical challenge, but they also take a genuine personal interest in the diverse career goals of their students. And anyone who has benefited from the remarkable talents of these teachers already knows that the IUC is golden. So, and especially its teachers. So why do I call them hidden treasure? Well, there's a reason for this. It's because our teachers are all so single-mindedly devoted to their students that it never occurs to them to seek the limelight. They're a truly modest group. They take satisfaction from the success of their students, and then they quietly move on to the next class. Well, I would like to make my first announcement as incoming executive director for the IUC. This is something I would like to change. Half a century is a very long time for us to allow such a stellar group of teachers to do their work without the special recognition that they so richly deserve. So today, as we celebrate the launch of the IUC's first ever capital campaign, I ask you that you join me in honoring these teachers. First, with your applause, and second, with your generous expressions of support for the work that they do at the Inter-University Center. So if we could just pause for a moment, I really would like to applaud our teachers. Thank you. just had a demonstration of how hard they work. They were so busy working that they didn't even realize that the applause was for them. Well, you know, there can be no better proof that the IUC teaching staff is golden than the collective accomplishments of the IUC graduate body itself. And of course, this is our second major cache of hidden treasure. Since its inception in 1963, the IUC has trained more than 1,600 advanced students of Japanese language, and well over 1,000 of these graduates have gone on to serve in the field of Japanese studies at universities in the United States, Canada, Japan, England, Hong Kong, and Singapore. More have made their marks as Japan experts in the arts, business, government, law, library services, science, and translation services, just to name a few. This small but highly influential alumni pool constitutes our second hidden cache. As individuals, of course, IUC graduates are anything but hidden, and I have absolutely no doubt that our more recent graduates will follow in the footsteps of their senpai to become the leaders of the future. What often remains hidden, however, is the connection between these extremely accomplished individuals and the Inter-University Center. When that connection is highlighted, it becomes crystal clear that the IUC has been a cornerstone in the development of U.S.-Japanese relations for the last half-century. As we approach the 50th anniversary of this cornerstone institution, it is high time to celebrate the achievements of our alumni and to bring out the hidden role that the IUC has played in fostering a deeper understanding of Japan on the international stage. As an institution, the IUC, much like its teachers, has always been so single-mindedly devoted to its core mission that there has never been much thought given to making its presence better known to the public at large. Those who know it, we know it well, and we know its value. But as incoming executive director, I would also like to change this. I would like to raise the profile of the IUC and to raise it to where I believe it ought to be. As a first step in that direction, I just want to mention that we really want to encourage our alumni to get to know each other. Needless to say, that is the purpose of this kind of a gathering, and I promise you that I won't talk too long and get in the way of that. But if you'll just give me a couple more minutes. As we all know, IUC alumni are spread all around the globe. It would be just about impossible for us to have a gathering in which we could invite everyone and get everyone to come. But with the magic of social networking technology, it is now possible to get to know your IUC senpai and kohai without even leaving your desk. Not that I would have you change your desks. Of course, I would much prefer to meet you in person. But what I want to say is that we now have an IUC group on LinkedIn with a membership of just over 200 IUC graduates. Joining this group is a great way to make new connections and to reconnect with old classmates. And I have been enjoying meeting some graduates through this forum. We will also be announcing new alumni events, fundraising initiatives, and news about the center through our LinkedIn group. So it's also a great way to stay informed about the IUC. And if you've not already joined, and I noticed that many of you who are here today haven't joined, I haven't met you on the LinkedIn forum, I would really ask that you think about doing so, consider doing so, and please also, if you have joined, spread the word among others that you know. And I do look forward to us creating together a very lively, active forum there. Now finally, I would just like to introduce you to myself as a way of getting us started tonight, and I do hope that you will share your stories as well. I'd just like to say a little bit about my personal connection to the IUC. As you heard from Jim, one of my mentors is an IUC graduate, and in addition to that, over the last 2 decades, I've had ample opportunities to appreciate the important work of the IUC and the fact that it really is the only institution of its kind. When I was a graduate student in the 1990s at Columbia, I had a lot of friends who attended the center. And as a professor at Stanford, I've also sent many of my students here. And I know that they're going to experience the same benefits that my friends have enjoyed. Also, a very firm belief in the value of advanced language education is something that happens to run in my blood. I grew up in a family that provided daily evidence of its importance. Both of my parents were polyglots, and both of them studied foreign language as adults. And I really can't emphasize this point enough. I think this also came out in Ezra's remarks. These days, a lot of attention is paid to foreign language education for children. And in a globalizing world, of course, there are very good reasons for this. But not enough attention is paid, I think, to the very particular benefits to be reaped from advanced foreign language training for adults. And this, of course, constitutes the core mission of the IUC. Just to give you some personal examples, my mother studied English as a college student in Taiwan, and she studied Japanese after that. When she moved to the United States, she built a successful career as a professional translator of both Japanese and Chinese into English. My father, a native, took up the study of East Asian languages in college, and he ultimately developed fluency in Chinese, Japanese, Korean, and Vietnamese. He served in the U.S. State Department as an expert in East Asian languages and cultures for many years, and then he finally settled down in Yokohama. My oldest brother, known as Vibi Hideo in Japan, began to learn Japanese at the age of 17, and he went on to become the first Westerner to write critically acclaimed fiction in Japanese. Well, embarrassingly enough, I'm the least accomplished of this bunch, but like everyone else, I only speak, English and Japanese. But like everyone else in my family, I did not take up the formal study of Japanese until I was an adult. And I didn't become a true convert to the study of Japanese literature until I developed the skills to be able to read it in the original. And that didn't happen until well after I completed college. So these days, when I send one of my students to study at the IUC, I know that they have the chance to experience there the same kind of conversion that I underwent. The kind of deep and far-reaching expansion of worldview that I believe can only occur when an adult chooses to pursue the study of a foreign language such as Japanese. And from that perspective, I am unwilling to even imagine a world without the IUC. And I'm absolutely thrilled for this opportunity to serve this unique institution at such a critical time in its illustrious history. Now, to put my money where my mouth is, so to speak, I am going to make an expression of my personal commitment tonight. I am pleased to announce a donation of $15,000 to the IUC 2013 campaign on behalf of my family. This donation represents the sum total. As Jim said, we're really getting started now. This donation represents the sum total of a family memorial fund started by my father, Howard Seymour Levy, to honor my late brother, Lincoln Isidore Levy, who passed away in 1993. My father charged me with the responsibility of administering this fund, and he also passed away in 2003. Now, my brother Lincoln spent the first 5 years of his life in Yokohama, and my father spent the last 30 years of his life in Yokohama. And I know that both of them would be pleased to know that this memorial fund has finally found just the right cause. In my capacity as executive director, I would like to challenge those of you who can afford to do so to join me in honoring the past, present, and future achievements of the IUC with a similar expression of support. And finally, in the interest of putting all of our treasures on display for tonight's celebration, allow me to acknowledge the generosity of all of our supporters and to thank so many of them for joining us tonight. I would like to thank the City of Yokohama, the Japan-U.S. Friendship Commission, the Japan Foundation, the U.S. Department of Education Group Projects Abroad, J.F. Oberlin University, the College Women's Association of Japan, the Shoyu Club, the Tokyo Club, the Ito Foundation USA, the Sato Foundation, the America-Japan Society, the Mitsubishi UFJ Foundation, the Blakemore Foundation, the Crescent Foundation, the Hiroko Araki Fowler Scholarship, and of course our 15 consortium schools. Please join me in thanking these donors for enabling the IUC to serve the advanced Japanese language needs of our community. And please join these donors in expressing your own commitment to the IUC mission. Thank you very much.